All right, so this deck is a collection of cards. We've got a variety of colors of mana in our mana base to enable Chamber Sentry, it looks like here. So let's give this a go. There's a lot of weird one-ofs in here, so I'm sure after we play a match or two with this, we're gonna like open up the editor and be like, let's put some like actual cards in here. Legacy was bad, Modern was worse, we're here playing some Standard. Alright. This makes, until end of turn, target land each will be the basic land type of your choice, in addition to the land type till end of turn. That is a no. That's all I could ask for. Hey, look, they've got Basic Mountain in their deck. That probably means this was like drawing a card. Yeah, card seems fine. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Basic Mountain could be mono red. It could be in a control deck too. Okay, so we're playing against the Phoenix deck. The Phoenix deck's been very popular. Deck's also very powerful. I mean, like, we're a 5-color deck, but we're basically like a 1-color deck splashing a bunch of things. It's not Magic Online that has me down so much as explicitly Modern's just not fun for me right now. It's really not enjoying what the format's generating. We don't even need the color fixing, chat. We just like played Nick on curve with a void. Do you have any idea what would make Modern more fun for me? I don't know. I think Modern's just like not the format for somebody that wants to play Magic like I want to play Magic. I think a big part of why I enjoyed Modern so much for so long was because that there weren't any viable alternatives. And now that Standard is a reasonable format again for the first time in a very long time, I don't feel like I need to play Modern to enjoy playing Magic. Morning, Nivik. Modern's always been very linear. There's a bunch of people who keep talking like Modern's different right now than it has been in the past, and I think that's just completely untrue. I think Modern is the same as it's always been, and we just like have this amazing Standard format now that can like pull the wool back from over our eyes and go like, Magic's great, and there's this thing that's better than running people down like we do in Modern. Modern's just been the best alternative for a long time. going to be shock, put Phoenix into play. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Urza. That's a long time ago. It's been a long time since Birthing Pod and Jund and Twin were the decks to play in the format. You're right that there was a time when those were the decks to play.
Please stop.
I don't even think you need to you need to ban all the decks that can win super fast. I think you just like need to make the decks that are really obnoxious less consistent. It's like people that talk about like it would be super hard to make Modern less obnoxious are just they're just don't like change. It's really easy to make Modern less obnoxious. You literally ban like 3 cards and the format just like becomes far less obscene. No, I don't think so, Nineball. Did you just hear what I said? In fact, if you've really been watching me, this is something that I feel like people have missed for a long time. I've constantly talked on this channel about how there's a ton of bad games about it. In fact, it's been a meme on this channel for as long as I've been streaming that we concede a ton of games on this channel. The reason why I've always conceded so many matches in Modern is because there's a ton of matches in Modern that just suck. I have not been accepting most Modern donation decks, Wee McGee.
How convenient. An excellent choice.
Karn basically reads draw target land. So I have 7. So I'm gonna Banefire the Electromancer here and then play the Rekindling Phoenix on defense. So I feel like I've had a couple other people say, and I think it's interesting, right? Because I feel like my message has always been you should play Magic for fun and skip the games that you don't enjoy. And I've always skipped a lot of games in Modern. It's always been the case here. And don't get me wrong, there are still good games of Magic to play in Modern. There's just bad ones you have to wade through to play those. And Standard right now generates those same good games of Magic without giving you the bad games that you have to wade through. Oh, that's rough.
This will not. We should discuss our differences.
I think we're dead, chap. No, it's not. The reason why a lot of people dislike Teferi is because people don't understand when to concede. Control decks, and these exist in every format, people are really bad at understanding when they're actually dead against a control deck. Control decks are different from mid-range and aggro decks in that when you're actually dead to a control deck, your health total's not 0, which is confusing for newer players. Yeah, is it Drake, is it Phoenix? They're all the same blue-red deck, Jackal Girl. There's a lot of variations on them. Some of them play more one-mana cantrips, some don't, some play more interaction than the main, but yeah, the Electromancer Arc-like is the Drake deck. Not all of them play Electromancer though, I suppose. Which Shrine Land do we ban? The Power Plant. Take their power away. Alright, we're pretty dead here. Lava Coil's great. Ixalan's Binding's very good in this matchup. I feel like we have a lot of good tools here. Seal Away is also very good. Pretty sure... I feel like this is the only matchup I can envision Damping Sphere being good in, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that in here. Fiery Cannonade doesn't do a whole lot. don't get what this card is doing. This is probably going to be the first card I cut from this deck. I guess it untaps Chamber Sentry, but just like the power level on this card is very, very low and bad. I like to play usually one game before I make changes, but we're probably going to go clean up a bunch of the numbers in this deck after we play this first match. Fight with Fire seems good. I don't mind like mono red splashing sweet cards off of Chromatic Lantern, like that seems fine, especially when we have Sarkhan to like filter through our cards. Seems fine. Playing Dredge and losing to Graveyard Hate left me a very salty monster beetle. So rather than be salty whilst I sit there and play Modern, I decided I'd rather stream Standard. I agree. I don't think you even need to ban a Tron land. I think just getting rid of Stirrings would be fine. Maybe I'm supposed to Justice Strike this. That could go either way. Do you have any called shots for breakouts at the PT? I think Jeskai is going to be the deck to beat at the PT. If people figure out how to beat it and still not lose to the field, it'll be interesting. Replacement ability isn't a thing himself. Jumpstart's an alternative casting cost is the verbiage you're looking for. I should hold this and just Justice Strike the Electromancer because this is instant speed. The mountains are gold because they currently tap for mana of any color. Yeah, maybe my sequencing here is loose because this is instant. The more I think about it, the more I think maybe I should just fight with fire there. It's more mana efficient too. I wonder if they have counterspells in their deck post board. Usually they have Disdainful Stroke to bring in. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Maybe I should lead on Shalai there to try and bait a counterspell because I wanted to hit a land with Karn, but like getting Shalai Disdainful Stroked is better for us than getting Karn Disdainful Stroked. Golgari's fine. So the thing about a deck like Golgari is Golgari's just a good mid-range deck. Good mid-range decks can be built to beat whatever you want to beat. The thing you need to understand about them, though, is that generally speaking, you can't build them to beat everything. So if you're going to play a mid-range deck, you need to be like, well, am I looking to beat the control decks and other mid-range decks, or am I looking to beat the aggro decks and mid-range decks? Basically, you tune your deck to like be decent in the mirror, and then people above you or people below you. It's really tough to be good against all three in your 75. And the green-black decks in Standard right now have such a wide selection of tools that they can really be built in either direction, I think. What's going on, Velik? Thank you for the 9-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome. Welcome back. Let's keep me employed here. So next turn I get to go Coil plus Shillelagh here. I don't think that's possible, Jackal Girl. I feel like the overlap of cards that beat mid-range tend to overlap controller aggro better, ideally. Yeah, Mortal Sun's a very powerful card. They have a Phoenix in their bin. The fact that they have a Phoenix in their bin maybe means I should have Justice. Yeah, I probably should have Justice Striked the Drake and then saved the Lava Coil for a bird. Yeah, I think my sequencing was bad here. I got some ideas for how I want to rebuild this here in a hot second. One Love, thank you for the 3-month resub. Thanks for sharing your Twitch Prime this way again this month. Welcome back. I mean, it doesn't necessarily show me they have no counter magic. Like, they could have had Disdainful Stroke there. Yeah, we're dead. I'd have been a little bit better off if I'd have sequenced my removal better, but we're still kind of dead there. Let's clean up some of the details in this mess. Sure, Zentoth. I'm gonna do both today, so. All right, so I'm gonna cut a bunch of the bad cards. Believe it or not. And I'm gonna clean up some of the mana. I'm gonna get a little bit more removal in here that I want. I'm gonna keep the Chamber Sentry Chromatic Lantern plan. I'm gonna keep the Sarkhans. I'm gonna trim the Shalai and the Rekindling Phoenixes. I'm gonna go a little bit deeper on the Dragon backup plan, I think. Rupesh, thank you very much for the tier 1 sub there. I appreciate that. Welcome, thanks for employing me here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna cut the green. I'm gonna put a Chromium in the main and the sideboard, I think. I don't think I have enough spells in my main deck to justify Niv in the main, but I'm gonna put a couple Nivs in the board, I think. I think Lava Coil's great right now. I think Justice Strike's pretty reasonable. That's 23 lands. These the spells I'm interested in casting? I think so. I think I want to get another land in here. This is 11 buddy lands, which is probably good. 26 lands is slightly too many. If I'm gonna play Justice Strike, I probably want more white mana. Do I want white to be my base secondary color? Probably Excellence Binding is pretty good. Seems pretty reasonable. And like I said, so when we get donation deck submissions, I like to keep the core idea of the deck the same. So in this case, we're playing a Chromatic Lantern Dragon Chamber Sentry deck. So I'm not going to cut the Chamber Sentries or Lantern. I want to play some more games with those. But I've cleaned up a lot of what feel like just the actively bad cards in the deck. I think Spyglass is probably not worth playing because I have a bunch of Excellence Bindings in my board. The Damping Spheres are some hot nonsense too. Yeah, the biggest thing the biggest thing that this deck editor needs is this middle part right here. If I can just click this and drag it up, making this row of things smaller and giving me more space down here, it would be about perfect. I really think. All right, so what's the last thing I want to do? So I've got sideboard cards here. I've got some Clarions, some bindings. Yeah, and the number of cards needs to be there too. That's true. I probably want to go in the other direction on these because of the nibs in the board. And then what am I last? I've got a bunch of anti-aggro in here. Blaze. I've got some anti-control. Do I want anything for green-black? What are cards that are good against green-black? No, I don't think we have enough dragons for Dragon's Horde. It's the deal 20. Yeah, Star of Extinction's a good way to clean up. Love it. All right, let's do it. I think you just rather have... I feel like Sorceress Spyglass should only be in decks that don't have access to Binding, Trophy, or Vraska's Contempt, if that makes sense. Like, rather than trying to Spyglass those things, you should just kill them instead. Yeah, blue-red decks, for instance. I think if you can just play actual removal, you should probably play actual removal most of the time. This seems fine. It needs a land, but, like, it's probably okay. Honestly, there's a chance I should probably go up lands in the deck, too. We'll wait a hot second and see how that ends up. Might be right, just get to, like, 24 or 25 lands. The tweaks to our deck really worked. Look at that, undefeated. Yeah, that seems good. So this deck can definitely cast Niv in the main. The problem is Niv is only good when you're casting a lot of spells or your opponent's casting a lot of spells, and I don't think this deck is casting enough spells consistently to want Niv in the main deck. Alright, so this is just doing our upkeep, trying to land here. Bad man. That probably means we're gonna die. We'll see how aggressive their draw is. This start is pretty good. I think killing the elf is pretty wrong there. I think I'd rather save my removal spells for killing their cards that actually kill me, rather than spending cards that are valuable removal on a 1/1 that accelerates them. Yeah, I think the fact that we missed our third land on 3 probably means we're just gonna be too far behind this game. I forgot to put a stop on my upkeep, so we missed our land draw. Would have missed anyways. I kind of want the fight with fire though, right? So I get to Justice Strike this one. I can actually burn my treasures and Cannonade here. Do I just do that? Because, like, they didn't play their spells. Like, they're obviously planning to use these elves post-combat for mana. Yeah, that's true. Clarion would have been much better than Cannonade here. If they have any follow-up play here, we're probably dead. Harpooner into Gulta is a pretty good combo. This is probably a liability in this matchup, right? They're almost certainly playing Nullhide Ferox. I don't know if Ixalan's binding is good enough here. I think Star's too slow. Yeah, Gulta's not very good. So Gulta is what we would describe in Magic as a win more card, generally speaking. It's a card that you could only put into play reasonably if you have a big board presence. And if you have a big board presence in these Stompy decks, you're winning most games anyway. So the only games Gulta is coming down in are games that you're already winning. Blaze is kind of like Hero's Downfall in this deck. It's a card that, it is a card that kills opposing planeswalkers. It also just, like, domes people. I think because I have the Chromatic Lantern next turn, I'm just going to go ahead and play this for 2. Also, if they, like, play a 3-drop here, I could Lava Coil their 3-drop plus Chamber Sentry down the elf. It's the best non-graveyard deck in Modern at the moment. Probably humans. Okay, it's like a balanced walking ballista, chat. Weird. For those that are new to the chat, just a general reminder of our chat rules. If you want to offer a suggestion on a card we're not currently playing that you think you should be, you need to be sure to include in your message why we should be playing that card, what problem our deck has that it solves, and what card we should be replacing in our deck to make that addition. So So I'm gonna go ahead and kill this here to shoot them for 1 to return as a 5/5 next turn, since I've got this Chromatic Lantern. So you get to like bring this back into play and then like play Chromium next turn. Oh, this comes back to my hand. Oh, this card's way worse than I thought. 4 of these might be too many. I don't know why I thought this just came back to play as a 5/5. It's really weird, chat. It's almost like reading your card explains the card. All right, and the auto tapper doesn't like casting Chamber Sentry correctly, so we have to do this manually. $15 mana for 15 damage. That's just a good clean rate, chat. Good clean live-in. Listen, anybody who's ever played Magic knows that literacy is a big problem among Magic players. I think enabling Molder Hulk to be cheap is kind of difficult in the green-black deck in general. What is this, MTGO, right? Seems fine. How do you feel about 2 Side of the Extinction, 2 Star of Extinction and Just Character? I think it's really good. I think Star of Extinction is like a pretty good flexible card. It's one of your better answers to Carnage Tyrant. One of the decks that top 8 the Grand Prix did a pretty good run at had a pretty good and it had a pretty good run at the Grand Prix that took 2 Star of Extinction, 1 main, 1 board. All right, so we could Justice Strike that one, but we won't be happy with the results, so let's not do that. I'm going to Lava Coil this rather than play my Sarkhan into it. That's just a 1/3, right? At Gift of Paradise. So I guess the Fiery Cannonade doesn't look particularly good.
No sword can pierce my... I'll show you unhinged.
Looking for a threat here, probably. Clarion's an upgrade. Kills the Druid of the Cowl. If they have Carny T this turn, we could be in a little bit of trouble. That seems good for me.
Go on. Hit me again.
So we're gonna turn a Sarkhan into a new card.
Madness. What madness?
Sarkhan's got some major issues. All right, I think I'm gonna Clarion plus Justice Strike here. Just like clean the board out. Because they have Galt in their deck, just like keeping their board small has more upside to it. Wonder if I should have boarded the Sealaways out because we saw things like Brontodon. They have Memorial to follow here so they could pick the Brontodon back up. I think the deck should be on land. Where else? Yeah, I like both Elves and Midnight Reaper in green black. I think those are cards that go well together. Alright, 2 Planeswalkers and an empty board. Probably doing okay here. Draw me a land, Karn. Ooh, Karn drew a spell. That's pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and just use my 2 mana here, I think. Gotta flip mana though manually so it picks the right colors. Naturalize, okay. I have no idea, Ship.
I do not feel pain.
Well then.
I summon you.
I'm gonna bend the seal away here. Is it even bigger, Chupacabra? This standard format is slow enough that this card is probably playable.
I know what I'm doing.
It's a Chupacabra that hits Planeswalkers, Jack. Come on now. Wow, that's really bad for us.
Would you like to see what's left of the sky?
So this means they get to kill my Sarkhan.
Love a little blood.
I guess exiling one of those is probably fine. No, this is not indestructible. It's hexproof, unblockable, and it's 1/1. It turns into invisible, Stalker chat. Am I supposed to kill these? I think I'm actually just supposed to hold this to protect Chromium, right? Just like, don't want Chrome Dog to die. No, picking up Sentry requires all colors of mana, which I don't currently have. Now I can pick it up since I have Treasure. I tapped that wrong there, though. Because now, if I would have left up the black source, I could have picked Chamber Sentry up without cracking all 3 of my... only cracking 2 of these. Small mistake on my part. Thankfully, coffee's for closers, and Chromium's getting himself a cup of joe. This card ends people. Deckmaster appears to be connected here. Try refreshing your browser. The Meteor Golems were pretty good this game for my opponent, to be fair. Palaka Worm, that's a biggin, chat. That is a large creature. We were winning the race. We were winning the race. We are no longer. We are getting wormed, chat. Yeah, but Opie's on a big build of green-black. We've got some live draws here. We get 2 draw steps. We've got... This can always trade here, too, if we want. Okay. Justice straight kills the worm, chat. They are going to get to draw cards. You're not wrong. That is the best. Exclamation point, justice strike. Bot, there's no justice here. Oh, MTG bot, you're great. You're a great MTG bot. I'm keeping both lands in hand because I want to be able to discard them to Chromium. So they picked this creature back up so they could trigger the Beast Whisperer to try and draw a removal spell for this, I assume. Am I making a push for the PC next year? Nope. I'm really not a big fan of team tournaments, and SCG is like team tournaments the series now. They also only have one standard open next year, in the first half of next year, and I really prefer standard to modern right now. Really prefer standard to modern. It just doesn't do anything, right? We didn't play Grishelbrand. Dredge broke me. Yeah, I don't blame SCG for not having standard tournaments. Like, standard was really bad for a long time, but like, it's just hard to play modern when standard is this good. Nice, Eddie. Yeah, there's so many sweet things in this format. I honestly don't expect the PT to change a whole lot about the format. It's been a very long time since innovation for a format came out of the Pro Tour. We've known what the best decks were going into basically every Pro Tour in recent memory. I don't expect this Pro Tour to change that. Casting this Chamber Sentry is like some MTGO level programming though. Why when Chromatic Lantern is out, don't I just get like, why doesn't, when I click on my lands, I should just see this wheel. This is what should pop up. I shouldn't have to like click a prompt and then click another prompt. Yeah, I definitely think we will see new decks come out of the Pro Tour Namachill. What I don't think is we're not going to see red-black aggro. We're not going to see a deck that like takes the format and like makes it so this is the only deck you play. That's what I'm not expecting to happen at the Pro Tour. What's going on, Destruct? You having a good one? Shoot that guy. So, yes, what the interface does while Chromatic Lantern in play is technically correct. It's still bad interface design. One of the reasons why Arena is such good Magic software is because in a lot of areas, Magic Arena, instead of doing what's technically correct in the Magic rules, it does what makes sense for making the user's life easier and better. That's the reason why Arena is better software than Magic Online, for the most part. Because instead of just being like, well, this is technically how the rules work, so we gotta do it this way, they look at the instances and they go, how do we make this a good interface experience for the person playing? And then they do that. They make the software intuitive. They make the software do what you think it should do rather than forcing it into this mold of technically correct by the Magic rules. Hey, Mertzagassin, thank you for the 7-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I've got a Fight with Fire in Exile here, so I can go ahead and Justice Strike this, and then next turn I can down tick Karn and grab my Fight with Fire back. That's awkward. So now I need 2 removal spells. So let's activate my treasure map here. Yeah, like that one. Like that one right there. I love treasure map. This card is so good. I would like to kill that one with fire.
Nothing is ever
I would like to kill that one with fire. Fight with Fire is a card I've been really impressed with too, honestly. If I had an activated map, you could have kicked Fight with Fire. Yeah, that's a good catch. That's a good catch. Thank you. I forget that this card is so good it has multiple modes. Yeah, kicking Fight with Fire would have been a lot better there. Juza Jin, thank you for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff. Thanks for supporting mine. And, like, looking at this now, if I would have kicked the Fight with Fire last turn, I'd still have a Fight with Fire to kill this Enigma Drake. So, like, the fact that I'm behind here is because I used my resources inefficiently. Which is, again, like, people often ask me, like, what makes a good Magic format? And in my opinion, what makes a good Magic format is I can look back on games that I've played and go, oh, I lost that game, but I made a mistake. I could have played better Magic to win this match of Magic. Good chance we're dead here. Sweet. Them attacking Karn is really good for us.
Efforts are futile. Please.
Means we're nowhere close to dead. This is instant speed pikes. I want to play it for more than 3 is why I waited. Perfect. Goodbye, friend. No, I have 2 Chromatic Lanterns, Turkin. I had a land in my hand. Oh, need blue. And now I like have this removal spell sitting in play here. So unless they have a way to kill a 5/5, I get to kill their Drake now, which is great for us. They have 1 Phoenix in the bin, so that's pretty good for us as well. Yeah, the HUD definitely should. All right, they have a way to kill it. All right, we get 2 draws and a way to kill this Crackling Drake here. Does that bring the Phoenix back? It does not. Yeah, the problem is I'm dead on board. And again, I probably would have won this game if I'd have recognized I could kick Fight with Fire and then had an extra Fight with Fire in the tank. So the misuse of my resources there ended up costing me that game. Binding is very good in this matchup. They do not have a lot of threats. The flying blockers are also very good. It just didn't matter, Hodor. You just cut sentries because they're slow and clunky. Star is very good in the green-black matchup because in addition to cleaning out their board, it cleans out their planeswalkers. Refresh your browser page, Synchronews. You should also be able to disable the extension by clicking on it and then re-enable it. Maybe Chromium's just too slow. I'll just swap those for this. I don't want too much top end. Yeah, Star also destroys Memorial. I did go out and vote yesterday, Nivik. And because I live in a nice neighborhood, there were no issues at my polling place. There were no delays. The amount of issues I saw posted with people just like having issues at their polling station was just so disgusting yesterday. Such a huge issue, like getting people to not vote by making it difficult for people in specific instances to vote. Thanks, the nose. So, getting to binding a Drake is very good in this matchup because the opponent's deck basically only has 3 threats. They have the one of each, they have the Drakes, and then they have the birds. Sometimes they'll board in Niv, but I'm not sure they'd bring in Niv in this matchup. Thanks for showing me the Esper Amulet deck. It's my new favorite thing, and all I want to do is take turns. Thanks for the bitch waffle soup. That deck's a lot of fun. What do the results mean for the U.S.? So the primary result is it looks like the lower house of our Congress switched from primary Republican control to Democrat control, which that's one of the checks and balances against the president, the presidential power. So it means things. Johnny Redeemed, if you think that what happened was based primarily on stupidity, I think that's very naive. Look at all the places where basically voters being turned away or having issues trying to vote happened. It's very naive to think that those issues just happened by happenstance. Lots of Drakes. Thankfully, I have lots of removal spells here. So I'm probably gonna Lava Coil next turn, right? Or now I can just do these two. And I think I just hold the seal away because it's instant speed, kill a bird. Oh, that's punishing. Maybe I'm supposed to hold the Justice Strike because of Niv. Yeah, I'm probably supposed to hold the Justice Strike because of Niv. That's probably gonna cost me the game. Really need to rip a binding.
Let us fight! You will feel the lit. Don't doubt my methods.
Yeah, good chance we're done here. Anytime the opponent's deck is just like mono cantrip, so like they're just gonna cast like 4 or 5 cards this turn with Niv. Yeah. Oof. So it really feels to me like I'm gonna make a command for people asking about my politics. We had a moment yesterday. For people that don't want to watch my 60-second video there, I voted a straight blue ticket here in Illinois. Yeah. The problem again with voting for, there's people that say they vote for the candidates and not the parties. Like the problem is the people in the Republican Party don't stand up to other people in the Republican Party. That's just not how it works. That's not how, regardless of what they say, that's not how it actually plays out. Yeah, the Illinois governor race was just like this hot, steaming mess. Just like our new Democratic governor, he actually has more money than Trump. But he also said he plans to oppose Trump, so we'll see. Holy crap, Texas. I can't believe they re-elected Cruz. Holy crap. Oh, Texas. It hurts, Jeff. It hurts, right? What is the opponent doing? They're like Esper controls. I probably don't want these. The Chamber Sentry is probably going to be really good in this matchup, right? It's going to be painful to cast over and over again, but like I guess they probably have some exile removal in their deck. But just like jamming this into play seems good. That's rough.
Let's slow this down.
They gonna tuck my map? Yep.
Not so fast.
That's unfortunate. That map was gonna show us the path to victory. Probably gonna get buried from here on out.
Hurry.
Yeah, I think so too, Bad Tinker. The winds are changing there. Yeah, there were a lot of big wins in this election. Like, Florida gave people who have committed felonies the right to vote, people who have been criminals in the past, which is important. Like, a big part of serving your time and coming back to society should be regaining your rights as a citizen, which includes your right to vote. Gave something like 1 million people back their right to vote from that passing. Yeah, it was really messed up. There are a number of states still. John Oliver actually did. John Oliver just does fantastic stuff. If you've never watched him, did a piece on the places where people with past criminal histories aren't allowed to vote still. Cleansing Nova would probably be a concession this turn for us. I'm not sure that we can recover from that. Like, as is, we might be able to power through this Teferi on the back of these treasure maps, each drawing us 3 cards, but it's definitely going to be a challenge game 1 when I don't have a lot of extra threats in my deck. Like, one of the reasons why these Esper and blue-white control decks are so good is they gain what's called virtual card advantage. And what virtual card advantage means is they're up cards because I have cards that just don't do anything in my hand. So like, I've got like these seal-aways and these Fiery Cannonades that basically just don't have text in this matchup, which makes them a lot worse for me, which makes it a lot worse for my deck. Listen, politics are important. Do you know what it means if you say politics doesn't have an impact on your life? That means you have privilege in your life. It means that you come from a position of privilege where you're someone that's part of a class or a group that doesn't have their lives and the things they're able to do dictated by politics. Other people aren't so lucky. If you're able to look at politics and go, that doesn't impact me, that's a privilege. What is our out here? I have a Chromium in my deck. Chromium could potentially plow through what they have going on. Yeah. You think politics doesn't affect you? Keep in mind that the United States was one of the only countries to pull out of the Paris climate talks. And then tell me that that doesn't impact you and your children and your children's children. The problem is the word privilege. What people think privilege means is people think privilege means they get a bonus. And privilege doesn't mean you're getting a bonus. Privilege just means that there aren't active detriments against you. And that's a big difference that a lot of people don't understand. Privilege isn't a bad thing, but recognizing that you have it and then using it to help people who don't is something that good and decent people should want to do. I could flip Nick here, but keep in mind that they could have a Vraska's Contempt and then I'd lose all my treasures. Whereas now, if I sit and wait, I can respond to a Vraska's Contempt by flipping my Nick. Oh, is this sorcery? It is a sorcery. You're right. I'm wrong. That doesn't matter, though. It's still bad to blow all my treasures to try and flip that there. Every one of these treasures is drawing a card, chat. Chat is completely correct that I cannot flip it in response. You're completely correct that I cannot flip it in response. But I think it's still very wrong to get rid of all my treasures to a Vraska's Contempt there. I don't think you should say like all gamers have bad politics, but like I think there's a lot of people that end up being gamers that definitely fall into the class of people that just like have a lot of privilege on their side. And that's okay, that's not wrong, but again, just like if you want to be decent and help people, you should want to use those bonuses that you have to help other people who are disadvantaged. No, I don't think so, Big Eyes. The problem is, this is the big problem with Bob. This is why Bob, I think, is just a bad card in green-black and people need to stop playing it. The issue with Bob in Modern is that the linear decks in Modern are ones that pressure your health total, which means while they're not killing Bob, Bob is still killing you. And like, because Tireless Tracker is a card that exists, if you look at the curves in these green-black decks, their curves are higher now, which means Bob becomes even worse because the curve is higher in the deck. Bob is great against Infect, you're not wrong. Anoronic Gaming, words, the meaning of words is within the context of what they're using. When people refer to privilege in relation to politics, they're not talking about bonuses. You could also make the argument that not having a detriment compared to somebody else is like having a bonus. So the semantics of what you're saying is nonsense. If a whole bunch of people have a negative, it's like everybody else having a bonus. So regardless of which angle you take, whether it's context or literally, I think the application still applies. Big Eyes, I'm just gonna get out of here. I've literally written tons of articles on it. I just gave you a really well thought out explanation, and if that's still not good enough for you, go away. All right, so we're gonna find out if drawing 4 cards a turn for a couple of turns here is enough to get us out of this. It might not be, honestly. Yeah, I gave up on Modern today. We played Dredge against a bunch of rest in pieces, and I was just like, I'm done. This isn't fun magic. Moved on with my life. So, like, they only have one counterspell this turn, so they're thinking if they want to sabotage this. So I just kick this Fight with Fire now? Like, there's a good chance they have another Teferi, right? So that's my land. I have 3, 7, 8. I have to use 1 treasure to kick this Fight with Fire. So kicking this Fight with Fire is like throwing away a card that I could be drawing is the issue. And I don't know if I want to do that. I love how we're sitting here talking about helping people and making logical, reasonable discourse, and then someone's interjection is you're very arrogant. It's like, well, I'm literally here just like asking you to justify the things you're doing. But I guess you're so used to not justifying things that people view that as arrogant. It blows my mind how different all these interfaces are. Oh, black. Put this into play. Is that a Nick B turn? I don't know if that's a Nick B turn. Am I religious at all? I'm not particularly. I was raised Catholic, but I haven't been to church in a very long time. I had a Catholic wedding.
Let's skip to the good part.
Feels bad. I think the thing that a lot of people miss coming from other places to this chat is this chat's not about being right or being wrong. It's about just like actually having a discussion and talking about things. That's the important part. There's not enough of that in other places. He's dead, Jim. That's true. SCG braved the elements. Yep, that was a terrifying event. Yeah, a lot of the ideas that are considered very liberal in US politics are just like accepted as, well, that's just what you do in the rest of the world because you should do those things because those are decent things to be doing. So I've got 6, 7, 8. This will be 9 mana. So I probably want to Nick. I want to play Nick plus bring back a Chamber Sentry this turn. Yeah, right. I mean, getting a Syncopate on a not Chamber Sentry feels kind of like a win for us, right?
need to move quickly.
We need to move quickly. Oh, Teferi. Yeah, I'm saving the fight with fire for when I think they might be out of counterspells. They might have less overall counterspells in their deck too, because they have a bunch of discard as well. I'm gonna do this, draw a card. I'm gonna bring back a Chamber Sentry off my Lantern plus my 4 lands. Hey, there's our main deck Chromium. That's a pretty good one. Blue, black, white, and then I can still play Chromium, right? Yep. This is Red Artifacts. You are watching Red Artifacts right now. No, I think I just want to play Chromium. Chromium will kill Teferi most likely. Unless they're on a Settle the Wreckage, Chromium should be good to kill Teferi, which is great. Yeah, Amulet Titan, Nick Moniker. If you're looking to play a toolbox deck in Modern, cannot recommend Amulet Titan enough. It's very, very powerful and has a lot of play to it. I wonder if they can actually kill me. Do you think there's like a Chromium in their deck too?
Hold that thought.
Yeah, Chromium's like the anti-control card. He does a little bit of everything. All right, so I'm gonna try and veer away from politics for the rest of the stream, so we don't just get caught up in it for the entire stream and focus on Magic. But I would like to just make one more comment towards people who think of themselves as centrists, because the centrist mindset is very stupid and damaging in today's current society. Here's the problem with viewing yourself as a centrist: when somebody says gay people shouldn't have rights and gay people should have rights is the other side of the argument, you can't meet in the middle there. There's no middle between this group of people shouldn't have equal rights and they should. There's no middle ground. You shouldn't take rights away from people based on their stuff. That's the problem with people who want to sit in the middle. There are issues you can be in the middle on, but there are a number of issues where an actual center just doesn't fucking exist. These are people's lives. These are people's rights to do, like, just exist as people and, like, have the same things that I do as a straight white male. You'll hear a lot of people say stuff like that I'm in the middle on everything. And there's things where there's just no reasonable middle. All right, that's it. I'm gonna start timing people out for politics stuff. That's the end. That's the end. That's the end of it. That needs to be said because it's very important. I feel like we might be in the realm of decking them. I feel like we might be in the realm of decking them. I guess Teferi usually means you can't deck. Have you seen the Izzet Phoenix list in Modern? Do you think they're playable? Yeah, I think they're definitely playable. I don't know if they're like good in relation to the other decks. I had a sub there. Thank you, Guys Muffin, for the brand new Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. All right, that's a contempt. So they can contempt this, but it's still going to take one. I'm like, with these Chamber Sentries, I just have like infinite cards in my hand to keep Chromium going, right? Which is sweet. Yeah, so if I can keep Teferi from alting, they can't deck, but they also just can't win. Yeah, I got you, Gengar. So I'm not surprised to see Teferi die there, because I'm assuming that they have more Teferis in their hand, right? Like I think that's the first Teferi they've gone through. So they have this contempt to kill my things. I'm just gonna pass. So I have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm gonna play Karn out. Let them use their sabotage. So Chromium's not good because he's uncounterable. Chromium's good because he's also unkillable. So, like, you can't kill him with spot removal, which is a big deal. Like, Niv dies to spot removal. This guy basically just dies to Eldest Reborn and Edict effects. Yeah, big sweeper, sure. Yeah, that's true. Big sweepers are also good to point out. I'm hoping that they don't have those in their deck and they're just on, like, rituals. It looks like they're blue-black splash Teferi. Excuse me.
I'm known for my excellent timing.
So I think I'd rather keep Chamber Sentry to bring back here like this so I can have 3 cards to protect this, because the only way they're winning this game is if they take Chromium out of play, right? So I just want to give them the least possible chance to take my Chromium away from me. These are pay 5 mana, make Chromium a 1/1 with hexproof. That's what these cards are doing currently. Urdia, thank you for the $5 tip. I appreciate it. People hate Jeff because he told the truth. Dealer's choice on these. Thanks for the support. All right, so there's the contempt. So this is, if they have 2 more removal spells, they can kill Chromium here. It does kind of suck to lose my Fight with Fire if they have 1 more, though. If they have another removal spell here, they're going to get to lose my Fight with Fire, which sucks. It might have been wrong to play out my extra Chromatic Lantern this turn, because if I wouldn't have played out the Lantern, I could have returned Chamber Sentry twice. It becomes a human, slam it into modern humans. All right, they're down to 9 cards in their deck here. So if we could just, like, keep Teferi off the table. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed the artwork on this card doesn't change when it turns into a human. I feel like it's a big miss that we didn't use the digital design space to have separate artwork for when this card's a human. Now, I feel like if they had an Eldest, they probably would have played it by now, and I think I'd rather favor having multiple sentries to bring back. I think I'd rather favor that. I feel like I don't need to play around an Edict. That's true, the animation does reference turning into a human. I do have a lot of mana. Well, like, I don't know. I just feel like their only way to... I feel like they don't have a sweeper in their deck to kill this card. And they only have spot removal, so he's just going to run them into the ground. This has been a sweet game of Magic. They could have their own Chromium here. If they have their own Chromium, though, there's a chance that I just deck them, right? You know, don't mind me. I'm just gonna play Chromium as a finisher in my mono red deck. NBD. No biggie. No big. Oh no! Oh crap, I forgot to enable full control mode. I forgot to enable full, you have to enable full control mode to have stop during the attack step. Wow, that's rough. Woof. Wow, we're gonna die now, aren't we? I think we're gonna die. Both my nicks are gone. I don't have a cannonade in my hand anymore. Well, if I fight with fire chat, they just give it hexproof. Oh, if they transform it, it dies. Oh, that's a good call. Good call. Magic's great. How do I change the damage? How do I change the damage? Oh, there's arrows. All right, that's figured it out. Figured it out. I didn't see the arrows. I missed the arrows. There's just too much glowing stuff on screen. Cookie Lord with the sub gift roonies. Thank you very much for the support. I appreciate it. I need more. Why don't these damn cards have hats on them? I don't understand. Oh god. What happens? Do I time out before I can make all 5 colors of mana here? Probably. Alright, I think we died because I didn't make my guy unblockable beforehand, but we'll see. I'm at 20. So like there's a chance like these, I guess they have the Ritual of Soot to kill both sentries next turn. Yeah, when I let the auto tapper. No, Chamber Sentry has to tap. Yeah, we're dead here. I'm gonna move along to the next one.
I know. You know what?
I feel like we put up a really good fight that game for the fact that like we had all these dead cards in our deck. Let's get to game 2 here. I was very close considering how many dead cards we had. Look at all these great cards we get to bring out of the sideboard. Hey, Botsy1109, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. What do we think of this? I could maybe see an argument for Star of Extinction, but I think it's worse than Fight with Fire. I think I like this configuration. What do we think? Think this is good? This is gonna be good. All right, so after this game, we're gonna move along to Jeskai control. I did say Botsy. Basti. Thank you, Basti. No, I don't think so. We have 25 lands, 4 Chromatic Lanterns, 4 Sarkhans. And I have treasure maps to help me find lands. How do you decide when to switch to another deck on Arena? Arbitrarily? No, for donation decks, I play them for a minimum of 2 matches and up to 90 minutes or so. This one's actually probably going to run a little bit long. We're right about at the 90-minute mark now. The Stasis League was Legacy. It was Legacy with a deck that wasn't very good. We did actually win a match with it. We were like a blue-red control deck that ended up beating Sneak and Show. So all decks, even modern decks, get played for a minimum of 2 matches. And then if I continue to have fun, we either finish the league on Magic Online or we play it for up to 90 minutes here on. What type of ladder system you think would work well with ranked in Arena? I don't know what you mean, Sulis. I don't know that is there like a specific type of ladder that you think we need? We have both. Blaze is better at killing Tefrees because it's instant speed and it deals 6 for 6 as opposed to 6 for 7. I think the Sulkai Karn deck from yesterday's legs. Yeah, I think it's really good actually. We're actually gonna play it again to wrap today up because I used my dealer's choice points from yesterday that people donated to bump Sultai Tez. I might audible to that deck for the Grand Prix if I can find it. Sorry, that ripping noise is my shuffling deck. I'll put that down. So this is an important decision when you're sequencing against these blue decks. I think it is very incorrect to play into their counterspell on turn 3, but you, however, should play into their counterspells on turn 4 because turn 4 is when they start drawing cards. That, however, is a Niv Mizzet, so let's play that one. I do Warhammer this evening? No, I don't cut out of my Magic schedule to do stuff like Warhammer. I might do some Warhammer tomorrow, but I'm not 100%. I felt incredibly frustrated playing Dredge in Modern because Dredge generates bad games of Magic. And I almost just turned the stream off, but instead decided I felt like playing Standard. So I'm playing Standard.
Hurry!
I clicked on the button again. Can I get my 10-minute timeout? Aaron, thank you for the 5-month resub there. I appreciate that. And Alex Jet, thanks for the 5 months as well. Yeah, I mean, the ladder system is intended to eventually mean something. But the fact that the ladder rankings basically are meaningless right now is a bug, not intended. Am I supposed to just Banefire the Teferi? I don't know, I kind of want to do this. Maybe it's right to just take the Teferi out of play immediately. That's probably right.
That thought.
Will I be playing Artifact when it comes out? Probably a little bit. I bought a key, so it feels like I should probably play it a little bit to get my money's worth out of the beta key I purchased, but if I'm honest, Valve's managed Artifact in a really poor way, and my hype for Artifact is low based on how they've managed their stuff pre-beta. Demo, thank you for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Just keeping me employed here. My hype's also a little bit low because Arena is great. So, like, if I'm being honest, I thought I was going to have to change to Artifact at least somewhat to, like, have a great video game to play that's a card game. But, like, Arena is a great card game. It is. It's a great video game. Magic's always been a great card game. Thanks for the sub gift, Cookie Lord. I'm doing well, Johan. We're doing well now that we're playing Standard. Modern was a little frustrating, but Standard's been a good time. Yeah, I definitely punted by not just killing this thing with fire earlier. I'd recommend you head on over to my wonderful website and click Standard at the top, and then you click into any of the decks that look like they're interesting to you, and then play the one that looks most interesting. There are so many fantastic standard decks in this format that there's basically, depends on your play preference. This format feels like Modern without the nonsense. It feels like Modern without having to die to Dredge. It feels like Modern without having to die to Tron. I don't know when I'm doing Modern. When I'm doing Modern again next. At the latest, it will be on Monday. I've actually never played Chandelar. It's a Nikki B over here with a silver counter on him. If you're the guy that likes to Tron people, you know, well, Tron, that's Modern's the format for you. There's a little bit of column A, column B, Axel. WotC also added the play design team, and this is the first standard format that the play design team has had input on, which I think has had a really positive impact on it overall. So I can't see how many counters are on Teferi. I'm pretty sure he's at 8 though. I definitely messed up by not blazing the or by not killing the Teferi on 5.
You may regret that choice.
But I don't think there are combo decks in this. I prefer combo decks, but I don't think there are combo decks in this format. There are combo decks in this format. There's a few combo decks in this format. Did Tom Ross leave play design? I don't follow Tom on Twitter or anything like that, so if he did, that's news to me. Yeah, there's a Naya Dinosaurs deck. It top 30, got like 35th at one of the Grand Prix overseas. Karn can only get cards that are in exile with silver counters on them. So my Karn cannot get any of these cards here. These were exiled by other things. Am I going to stream Arena on Friday? Yeah, my schedule is going to be different, though. My schedule on Friday is going to be, I'm going to start when the Pro Tour is closer to finishing. Or maybe I'll do Modern while the Pro Tour is live. I might do Modern while the Pro Tour is live. Just plow through that. The Modern viewer numbers are bad anyways, so having bad numbers while the Pro Tour is going on is like really isn't a big deal. I kind of want to watch the Pro Tour though is the issue. Maybe I'll stream Modern while the draft rounds are going on Friday morning. Maybe I'll stream Modern while the draft rounds are going on Friday morning. So, Joey B, there's this really awesome speaker icon on the bottom of the Twitch window, and if you click on it, it makes the man in the talkie box louder or quieter, depending on what your audio settings are. Extras, 10 months. Thanks for the entertainment. Thanks for the 10-month free subscription. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Can you show the PT muted and do commentary on it? That's just not good EV for me. If I'm streaming, I want to be working through. If I'm streaming, I want to be working through. I want to be working through my queue.
Let's skip to the good part.
Somebody unban Dookie. I meant to time them out because they don't understand what words mean. It's impressive how many people have never heard anybody actually project their voice. Just like this idea that like, if you have a strong voice, you're yelling. If I yelled for 50 hours a week while streaming, I wouldn't be able to talk after a week, chat. No, the silver counters are not connected to separate Karns. Like if I draw another Karn, I'll be able to draw a silver counter with it. So this game, and this is one of the reasons why Magic's such a tough game to like get better at and improve at. I lost this game because I didn't kill their Teferi on 5. So like the entire game was decided basically by a decision that I made on turn 5. And even though it's turn 12 now, I'm gonna lose this game most likely because of a bad choice that I made on turn 5. Or turn 6 or wherever it was. I think it was turn 6 actually.
If you show remorse, I'll show restraint. We need to move quickly.
That's also true. The audio quality is better when your gain is not like a hot mother. Binding's a pretty good draw. I'm gonna draw with the clue here first to try and bait, try and draw a card that could bait a counterspell. All right, does something sinister lurk in my future? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pack it in here. Good game, opponent. Yeah, so because I didn't kill the Teferi on 6, it just allowed my opponent to snowball advantage that I was just never able to recover from, even though I had a couple of card advantage engines of my own, just like unable to surpass what they had going on because I didn't address their card advantage when I had the chance. Arena died, so I'm reloading it here really quick. As far as this red artifact deck is concerned, this deck was weird. If you're looking to play a Chromatic Lantern deck, it's probably fine. It's definitely the collection of spells that we're playing feels reasonable. I think that match against Esper kind of highlighted what I would expect to be one of the issues with this deck, which is that you have all these cards that just like don't line up well into non-creature based decks game 1. It could also be that, like, because we have Sarkhan to, like, loot through and, like, map to scry through, that's less of a big deal than I think. Perhaps the correct answer is that I just want a second copy of Chromium in the main deck to hedge those matchups a little bit. What are we doing next? Do I have Jeskai Controller in here? I do not. Let's load Jeskai Control up in here and we'll be on our way.